Hey guys, how's it going? So I thought today would be kind of a fun day to just go over some slap songs. And a lot of these are going to be songs that I learned early on when I was developing my slap technique. So they may not be the exact ones that I learned how to play it with, because I'm not sure that I remember individually which ones I actually learned slap with. But a few of these helped me develop the technique a little bit more. And to be able to, sorry, Seth, you made me laugh. And to be able to play some different techniques. Like I'm going to go over some Victor Wooten songs that help me kind of develop the technique, knowing multiple pops. And so basically I've just got some bass lines like that to kind of go over and share with you. And I think I'm going to be going over some Victor Wooten, some Les Claypool kind of stuff from Primus. Maybe a little bit of Marcus Miller if I can figure out how to make it sound okay on the U-Bass. And then did I already say, I may have already said Victor Wooten, but that one's going to be important. And a little bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers. So if you like videos like these, slap like now. I'm going to say it. There you go. It's a Davey reference, but thank you, Seth, for saying that. It's pretty funny. So I think I can't really remember which songs I like learned slap on, like if I actually just learned the technique and kind of applied them to other things. I want to say that among the first ones that I heard were probably Aeroplane. Oh, yeah, Freebird. That one doesn't really slap. Although you could do a slapping version, I guess. Make something up and kind of have fun with that, but no, not that one. Probably that'd be interesting. A slap version of Freebird would be kind of weird, but I know it's not really what your suggestion was. Would be kind of funny. I think Aeroplane by Red Hot Chili Peppers was one of the first ones, and I never really learned it completely or learned it correctly. So I'm just going to go over the first part today, but because I never learned all the fills, because he does so many different fills in that song. But I think that when I started playing bass, I was probably 11 years old at the time, 10 or 11 years old. I think it was around my birthday when I started playing bass. So it was either 10 when this happened or just barely 11 when this happened. But I got to play in a talent show, and I couldn't slap back then. Of course, it was 4 weeks after I started playing or something, and I got to play in a talent show because I had some friends that just needed a bass player to fill out a band to play in the grade talent show. And we didn't do any slap, but his older brother, the drummer that just put it all together, his older brother ended up playing guitar with us, and he was more of a bass player, so he would just show me things on the bass, which was really cool of him to do. And one of those was that slap part for Aeroplane. So I may not have learned it correctly. I've done a dumb version, but I think that was really one of the first ones that I learned. I didn't play it right, but I tried to imitate what he was doing. But yeah, so that's a lot of like slap octaves, like dead note between, which I don't think I knew about dead notes at first. Okay, so Seth says he doesn't think that's slap. I don't know what he's joking about, but yeah, it's definitely slap bass on Aeroplane at the first part. And then aside from that, I think one of the other ones was Higher Ground. So still the Chili Peppers version of Higher Ground. And then at some point after that, I got into bands like Primus, and started listening to a lot of different things. And I think I learned some slap bass lines from magazines that they may have just made for those magazines. I'm not sure. So at that point, there are just some exercises, and so for a while I did that. And then, of course, someone introduced me to Victor Wooten a few years into it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Seth was making a joke or not. I know that he knows that that's slap bass, but the whole song's not slap. There are some parts in there that aren't. But Aeroplane is slap toward the beginning. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of different ones like that. So with Aeroplane, I think we'll just go over a little bit of it. So I checked on the ending of that from Charles Berthoud's video. So if it's not exactly like the first one that happens in the pattern, he might have picked it from some other place. It's a joke. Cool. Okay, gotcha. You're talking about Freebird. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Freebird doesn't slap. Sorry. Kind of confusing. Believe it or not, the comments are actually working on the computer, so I'm trusting that they're working. If I'm missing a couple things here and there, it may be that they didn't show up on this one. Hey, Robert, how's it going? But so far, everything's showing up on the computer, so I'm guessing they fixed the bug that was happening before. But I've got it here just in case if I need to pull it up and check. So basically what you do first, you're basically going to slap octaves of a G note. So I'm starting on the 3rd fret on the E string. I'm going to hit 2 of those with my thumb. And so if you're not familiar with the slap technique, which most of you probably are, you're using your thumb kind of like a drumstick, but like if anybody's ever like seen people march with bass drums, they're kind of doing this motion with their wrist. It's turning, and then they're getting a bounce off of the drum head with the end of the beater of the drumstick. So you got the, that kind of thing. And my technique probably isn't great for bass drum, but it's that same idea of kind of like you're twisting your wrist, almost like opening a doorknob. And then you're using that. So you might have to develop that a little bit, have control over it. And then you're using your thumb kind of like the drumstick or the beater. So you're going to have it like loose, right? Your thumb's going to be loose. And then what I'm doing that little twist motion, and I'm not going all the way. I'm not trying to make my thumb go all the way into the string, but I'm letting the momentum carry it into the string so it bounces off. And by the way, if you notice that you can see through the U-Bass, it's because I don't have the back plate on, so it's just kind of shining through there. Sorry, it just distracted me. But basically, yep, we're going to just do 2 slaps where, like I was saying with the technique, you really, it's like stop your hand here and your thumb will continue through and hit the string. So that way it returns to like a point rather than sticking on the string and muting it. So it's like if you go into the string, you might not bounce away quick enough and you might end up muting the string. But if you pretend like you're stopping an inch away from it, your thumb will still carry through and it'll bounce back. Okay. And we're going to slap twice. Boom, boom. And then we're going to pop the 5th fret on the D string. So we got the 3rd fret on the E string, slap twice. So, okay. Slap, slap, pop. And what I'm doing to pop is I'm kind of hooking my finger underneath and pulling outward. So after we get that slap, slap, pop, we're going to do a muted slap, which means we let go of the 3rd fret and just hit the string. And this one doesn't matter if your thumb stays on the string because it might actually add an extra muting quality to it. But if you can't remember to do that, just remember to mute with your left hand by just letting up pressure on, you were pushing down the 3rd fret on the E string. Now you're just letting it up. So you're not pushing down at all. You're just touching the string and slapping in between. And then you're going to pop the 5th fret on the D string again. Slap, slap, pop, mute, slap. Sorry, mute, pop, I should say. Slap, slap, pop, mute, pop. And I'm not sure about that mute. You might be able to just hit another 3rd fret. I just can't quite remember if it's a 3rd fret or if it's a muted note. Try both, decide which one you like better, listen to the original and tell me if I'm wrong about it. But either way, it happens kind of quick, so it might be hard to tell. So either way is probably acceptable. So after that pop, we're going to slide our hand up and play the 5th fret on the E string, slapped. Then we're going to slap the 6th fret. And you don't really need to slide your whole hand up, but to me it makes the next part easier. So I just happen to do that. You could use your middle finger for the 6th fret that we're about to slap too, if you want to. So we got 3, 3, pop, pop, right? 3, 3, pop, slap, pop. 5, 6 on the E string. Then we're going to go slap on the fret of the A string, then pop on the 7th fret of the G string, and then we do another slap pop there. Yet again, I'm not sure if it's a ghosted note or if you're really hitting the 5 there. I think you're really hitting the 5, so we probably earlier on weren't doing a ghost note. It might be a ghost note. Anyway. And then we're going to play, after we pop the 7th fret on the G string, slap pop, we're going to do another slap pop, like we just said, 2 in a row. So that's 5, 7, 5, 7, the 5 being on the A string, slapped, and the 7 being on the G string, popped. Then we're going to play the 4th fret and the 3rd fret on the A string, slapped individually. So we kind of do that same pattern where after we go to the 3rd fret, we're going to hit it again. And we're going to do that slap on the 3rd fret of the A string, pop on the 5th fret of the G string 2 times. Yeah. And then, so that's slapping the 3rd fret on the A string, popping the 5th fret on the G string, slapping the 3rd fret on the A string, popping the 5th fret on the G string. Then we're going to slap the 5th fret on the A string, then the 6th fret on the A string still. And that last little part, let's see. So we do that 5th, 6th fret on the A string. Then we do I think we do a ghosted slap before that though. Okay, so we're gonna do a kind of ghosted slap on the A string. We're gonna pop the 3rd fret on the D string. Then we're gonna do a ghosted slap. Then we're gonna pop the 5th fret on the D string. And then we're going to do another ghosted slap and another 5th fret D string pop. So we got 5, 6, ghosted slap, pop 3, ghosted slap, pop 5, ghosted slap, pop 5. And really, those ghosted notes don't need to be super loud. They're just kind of like timekeepers as you're going through. So hopefully that helps kind of a little bit there. All right. So we got that. And that's all we'll go over for now. There's another cool fill kind of around the bend from that, but that's really the main groove. Is just really the first half of that, and that last bit's of the fill on its own. It kind of just varies almost every time he plays it, although there might be patterns to certain fills that he does later on. But that's Aeroplane. So that was like one of my introductions to slap bass, just seeing somebody else do it. I'm not sure that I learned it right away, but I thought it was really cool. And I guess when I started playing slap bass, I started playing bass, I didn't really know what slap bass was. So that was just cool seeing that and then learning about it later. So from there, other things that kind of developed my slap playing. I mean, I listened to things like Primus, and then at some point, somebody introduced me when I was in 8th grade to Victor Wooten. And I'm sure at that point that I had already been doing some slap. I'm pretty sure I'd already written a song using slap, but I honestly can't remember any specific things that I was playing off the top of my head where I was actually doing slap. So we'll just jump over to the Victor Wooten. So this is a big jump, right? I had probably been doing slap for a while now that I think about it, because there's no way that I just like learned on this stuff. But it helped me develop some control with slap was Victor Wooten's classical thump. So I bought the transcription book that he had, and he had it notated out with the way that he played it. So the first part went like this. This G string is not good for slapping. To figure out if I can find a place where it's better. Gets back. So that part, which, like I said, this particular string doesn't lend itself to slapping. The cool things about it was you were slapping, not popping, on every single string. So things that you had to work on for that were muting with the left hand in case you actually hit other strings, but also just the accuracy of hitting the string you were intending to hit, which right now I'm not doing a good example of with that G, because I'm having to like hit downward to get it to sound. So instead of like doing a normal slap technique, I'm almost picking through with my thumb just to get it to sound. I've seen a video where Victor actually just pops that note. And I think maybe it was for the same reason. But honestly, on a full-scale electric bass, that note will slap too. You just have to bounce off quick on that one. So let's go over what he's doing there. I'm just going to tell you the fret numbers because they're all slapped. So 3rd fret E string, 5th fret A string, 5th fret D string, 4th fret G string, 5th fret D string, 4th fret G string, 5th fret D string, 5th fret A string, 4th fret A string, 5th fret D string, 5th fret G string, 4th fret, same string, 5th fret, 4th, 2nd fret, all on the G string still. So we got, gosh, I don't know why it's hard to do. I think these strings are just getting kind of dead too, so it's not bouncing very well. If you're going to do this on a U-Bass, you might want to pop the G string notes. So I'm going to do that for now just to kind of keep it easier. And then after that, we've got the 5th fret on the A string, the D string 5th fret, and then the G string 5th fret, and then the D string 4th fret, G string 5th fret, D string fret, and then I think that's the right amount of them. Let's see. There might be one more 5th fret on the G string and 4th fret on the D string after that. And then we go back to 3rd fret on the E string, 5th fret A, 5th fret on the D, 4th fret on the G, 5th fret on the D, 4th fret on the G, and then back to 5th fret on the D string. So we got. And then 5th fret on the A string at the very end of the pattern. I think I left that one out. So that one's just kind of fun for that. And so it's a good exercise there. But then the next part of the song, which once again might be a little bit tricky to do because the G string on here, but we're going to be slapping the open strings and then hammering on to those same notes. So same notes, pretty much the same order. We're just going to be hitting the open strings, hammering onto it. So hit the open E and then hammer on to the 3rd fret. Hit the open A and hammer on to the 5th fret. Hit the open D, hammer on to the 5th fret. Open G, hammer onto the 4th fret. You get the idea. So then it's like that all the way through the same exact pattern that we just went to. And then where it really stepped it up for me was adding the extra double thump in there. So the double thump isn't really quite just like a slap technique. It's a totally different technique that Victor Wooten does. And that's where he goes through the string and then comes back up with his thumb. So you can practice doing that. You go down with the thumb through the string and then pop back up. It was a really bad example. Don't go too far in or it'll get caught under like that, like I just did. But yeah. So you got to figure out a good angle and everything just to kind of get that in a row. But it's almost like using your thumb like a pick, but you're hitting it a little bit harder than a pick would. So it almost has that slap to it. And then you're hammering on in between a down and an up. So you go down, hammer on, up. And it's just the same that we were doing before with the hammer on version. Then where you And then, well, the ending's different. Yet again, newer strings would probably be a little bit brighter. This double thump technique might not work as well on the on really any other U-bass strings other than the round wounds. The flat wounds might do okay, but yeah, that double thump technique is kind of cool, and you just got to work on getting the timing down. So what I did to develop that was I went really slowly with the metronome. Down, hammer, pluck, down, hammer, pluck, down, hammer, pluck, down, hammer, pluck, down, hammer, pluck. So that was kind of the thing there, is you just have to work on evenly spacing it and thinking of that hammer on as an evenly spaced note as everything else. So I'm thinking like triplet, and trying to get each one to line up with it. Triplet, 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 and then speed it up from there. Triplet, 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 triplet. The scale. And that's just literally hammering on the same way we're doing just all the notes of a G major scale. 12th fret, 11th, 9th, 7th, 5th, 4th, 2nd fret, and open. Right? So then you work on getting it up to speed. And honestly, it's been a while since I've gotten it, so I might be slower at it, but we'll see. But that's what you can kind of like work towards. And it gets a little bit more oomph on an electric bass, and the string tension being tauter kind of helps. So it's a little bit trickier on the U-bass for that reason. And you may want to be further back to get more string tension. Yeah, it's just harder on U-bass, but you get the idea. So that's what's going on there. And that really helped me develop that. And I tried to go further and further into the song. And really, that one's a great way to either get really frustrated with slap or to get a lot better at it. Because as you go forward into the song, there's more slap stuff that's not using the double thump technique. Then there's more that is using the double thump technique. So then the next part, it's really hard to, on U-bass, you can tell I'm like knocking the bass every time I go under to pop. But this next part's kind of a cool section for working on this stuff. So basically, you're still doing that open hammer on. Now you're popping afterwards. Oh, that's an advertisement. Let's see. So I'm just checking to see if the chat stopped working on the screen, or if it's just that people haven't said anything lately. I think it's just that people haven't said anything lately. Let me know in the chat if it's still working for you guys, and if the sound's okay and if everything's still working. Okay, but basically you're still going to do this thing. You're going to do open string, hammer on, and then pop. So I suggest just kind of like getting good at that pattern. So basically, you're going to be hitting the open string, slap it, and then hammer on to 14th fret on the A string, and you're going to pop the 12th fret on the G string. So you got, there it is. Sounds a little better. And then do the same pattern, but this time just do this on the D string instead of the A string. Do the slap part on the D string. Still pop the G string. You do that whole pattern twice. So hammer on 14th on the A string, pop. Hammer on 14th fret on the D string, pop. Then again. So we got. Then we're going to move down to where we're on the 11th fret on the G string and the 12th fret on the A and the D string. Let's see. And it reverses which string you start on each pattern. So when you go down to the 12th and 11th fret ones, next you're going to start by hitting the open D string and hammering on, then hitting the open A string and hammering on. Then you're going to switch the pattern around for the next one. I won't go through the rest of that. You can find that in his tab book, because he actually wrote out the tabs for it in his transcription book. I believe there's somebody that's usually on the stream that actually has that book and has been using it a lot. But that's where I learned that from, and that helped me out tremendously with just getting accustomed to different types of slap techniques, realizing how to time things and these things out, so that I could get used to like hitting an open string, hammering on, and then popping. I use that a lot when I improvise now. Right, that kind of stuff. I'm hitting the open E string and then hammering on to a note, and then I might even slap it after before popping. And then I don't always go from an open string. Sometimes I hit a note on a different string and then hammer on, which this is something Flea does a lot too. But you hit a note, hammer on, then slap again, and then pop something else. You know, that kind of thing. So that's something that's not just a Victor Wooten thing, but he combined that with the double thump and did all sorts of other things with it on classical thump, which is a really good one. So then somewhat in classical thump later on, but we don't have enough frets to do that one. And then in another Victor Wooten song, You Can't Hold No Groove, the way it was notated back then, and I think he plays it a different way now, but it was notated to go that kind of thing. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing that hammer on thing that I was talking about, slap, hammer on, slap. So that's like open, hammer on, pop, slap, and then popping two strings, pointer and middle finger, sorry, popping two fingers on the same string. So I'm going double pop. So that is a double pop. So I'm popping the pointer finger and then the middle finger after. So that was kind of a cool technique to learn, because you can all do stuff with the double thump. And this isn't from that song, but it's just something that I did out of learning this stuff from Victor Wooten. Was I started doing the double thump on like one note of an octave, and then then I could do a double pop, meaning pointer finger, then middle finger on the higher octave. It's hard to get it cleanly. It almost like has a built-in mute, so it's hard to not do it staccato. Unless you really move your hands out of it like I was doing there. That's just using these 3 fingers. And it's been kind of fun just doing the slap and the double pop and then combining that with the double thump to get a whole bunch of extra things. And I since kind of used that technique now, like doing it on one string, down, up, pluck, pluck, all on one string. So that's one that if you work up to speed, sounds kind of cool fast. But it's hard to have control over unless you practice it regularly. One thing that I found is it kind of became a nervous habit. Sometimes I would just start practicing this on my knuckle, going down, up, pluck, pluck on like this knuckle here. And then I would just practice going down, up, pluck, pluck, down, up, pluck, pluck. And sometimes I go down, up, pluck, pluck. I do an extra down, up with the thumb. And if I have like a Coke bottle or something, I'll do that on like the side of it or on the lid or whatever. And it's just kind of a nervous habit. So just stuff like but that's kind of a fun thing to do that too. So hopefully that just gives you some ideas to mess around with. They don't work as well on the polyurethane strings. In fact, the double thump may not be like a really good idea at all. I'm just gonna set that there and try to do. But that down, up, pluck, pluck can still work on the G string. But the double thump is kind of hard to do. Because of the low tension of the strings. So you kind of have to adjust the technique a little bit. And if you play light enough, you might be able to do it. I found that my fingernail sticks to the string and just, pulls it a little bit later than I want to. It hits it a little harder. So it's harder to be uniform on the polyurethane strings with these techniques. But you can still do them if you want to. And then the hammer-on stuff still works. You just have to play a lot lighter when you're slapping and popping on this. Because if you don't slap and pop very lightly, these are more likely to break. But honestly, even with the round wound strings, just don't pluck too hard. I've had those strings on there for over, 3.5 years now, and they haven't broken. So just keep that in mind that like you can slap and pop on these, just don't overdo the intensity of the slaps and pops, right? So that's kind of something to keep in mind just as you're going. All right, so that was the Victor Wooten session. So then with Primus, I'm not sure that I really have a lot to add there. And this isn't one that I really learned early on. I tried doing stuff like Tommy the Cat, I guess, and I don't think I play it right. I do ghost notes instead of the stuff that he's doing on the E string, so I play it like... And I think there's really some stuff going on the E string that I'm leaving out. But one thing that even playing it incorrectly kind of incorporated for me is going down and up like I'm strumming. So that's something I think I picked up from Les Claypool more than other people, although Victor Wooten does it too. And several other bass players do it too. But just kind of going down with the fingernails and even up with them. So a song that I like doing with that, rather than trying to, butcher Tommy the Cat, is one called American Life. And Seth, yeah, the answer is you can. It's kind of a pain because you gotta be at a weird angle. So, all right, since you asked for it, I'll try it. The answer is yes, but not well, probably. There you go. So because you're playing the upright, if you're trying to do the double thump, your thumb has to be like this. So it's easier if you kind of like get a different angle. doesn't sound as good because I'm not getting as much of an up thumb. But yeah, you can. It's just harder to get that. It's hard to get the hammer on to be louder. But yeah, you can use your thumb like a pick on the upright. I don't know about all the hammer on stuff though. So it's harder, but you technically can, yeah. But from Les Claypool, I kind of picked up that idea of strumming down with the fingers. And he does it a lot of times. I know I was about to say like American Life, but honestly, it's not coming out very well on here for the same reason of the, you know, just the G string not coming out loud enough. But he's like slapping the first note and then going slap, up, down, up, down, up, down, up with the fingers here. So down with the fingernails, up with the fingertips. So all the right hand's doing is so down. So you're slapping, then you're coming, and that's kind of like your first down strum is like you slap. You could actually slap and do that at the same time. He doesn't, I don't think, on this one. Could be wrong. He might do it. No, he doesn't. So you slap instead of the first down, but then from there your hand's just a machine going down up. So you want to get really consistent with that, as accurate as you can, just kind of hitting these two strings at the bottom. Yeah, and yeah, it's not sounding great on here, but you get the idea. And then everything else is coming from the left hand. So I'm hitting the 3rd fret on the E string when I'm slapping. Then I'm hitting the G string and the D string on the way up. He might. Does he do it the other way? I don't think he redoes it every time. I think his hand's just kind of going smoothly like that. So I think he starts on the up strum. So he comes up with this hand. Those fingers just going up. I know I'm kind of like bringing my hand together, but it's not, my thumb's not doing anything. It's just these fingers coming up. Okay. And so then after you hit those two open strings, your left hand is just going to hammer on the 3rd fret and the 5th fret on the D string. And then you're going to do a down strum for the next open and do the same hammer on thing. So that's where we are right now. Slap, up, hammer on, down, hammer on, up, hammer on. Then on this next down, we're going to hit the 2 string open again. And then we're going to hammer onto the 3rd fret on the G string this time. And then we're going to hammer on to the 5th fret on the D string. So we got... And then after we hit that note, we're going to do an up strum, because that's just where our right hand would be in the pattern. So let's see. And then you're kind of just pushing down on that 5th fret still, and you're getting that down up. Really, you're getting 2 G's out of there, because you're getting the 5th fret on the D string and the open G. So you're getting a nice little chorus effect on that. Yeah, so you kind of get the idea, and there's some other things going on there. But if that's not exactly the way he does it, I think it's pretty darn close. And the big takeaway is just that right hand technique of being able to strum with your fingers and slap. So that's one thing I like that Les Claypool does a lot, right? Another example. He's strumming strumming down and up like this, and then everything else is muting and power chords for John the Fisherman. You know, you get the idea. So he's going back and forth between doing that strumming stuff, and then when the rest of the song comes in, I can't remember if he's plucking or slapping. I just choose to slap it. But that's just some more Les Claypool stuff for you. But the song American Life was the one we did first, and then that one was John Fisherman, just for the record. We're not going to go through John the Fisherman as much, but just giving you the idea from the other song. Cool. Hey, Dolphin Legend, good to see you again. Nice to see some familiar faces. Seth and Robert, I think y'all have been on almost every, not quite every single one I've done, but almost every single live stream I've done. And in a Macintosh Freebird thing. What's funny is like when people request Freebird, I know a lot of times people are just kind of like messing around in the audience, but occasionally we do it. When I was in Dallas, was just this past weekend on Friday, someone requested Freebird and we played it. And we had not rehearsed it, and it went okay, you know. But yeah, sometimes you got to be careful because you might request it and not actually play it. The one that people seem to request now as much as Freebird used to be is probably Wagon Wheel, or maybe Sweet Home Alabama still gets requested a lot. So yeah. Okay, so Dolphin Legend, what are some songs that actually use the U-Bass, like on the original recordings? It's just a relatively, I wouldn't say there are any famous songs that I know of that really use it, but there's some players that have recorded some stuff now, and I actually made a Spotify playlist at some point with some songs on there. But yeah, I don't know that there are any like famous songs or recordings using U-Bass. Most of the time, we're just kind of imitating the upright bass when we're playing on it. But if anybody can correct me if there has any use of it in a popular song, let me know. But most of the time it's just that. All right. So let's see. Seth says, can you do Winona? Okay, the Winona's Big Brown Beaver. Was it? Was it? No. No. Like, apparently I can't. No. I think I need more frets. Yeah, I'm gonna need that fret up there. I guess I could do it with the harmonic. But something like that. Honestly, my brain's not really doing a good condition of my memory's just not there for it. I can't remember that little fill that he does in there. But yeah. Something like that. Kind of works. All right. So, hey, Navix, how's it going? I actually mentioned earlier, I think you're the one, right, that has the Victor Wooten book. So I was mentioning that earlier that if someone wants to learn the rest of kind of like that, that's really what I learned the Victor Wooten songs out of. And so when I was learning the double thump technique and learning how to do all that stuff with the slap and double pops, a lot of that stuff really came from working on the Victor Wooten stuff out of that book. And now I use those techniques a lot. But yeah, it's mainly from practicing Victor Wooten songs. So good to see you. I'm doing well. I'm still technically getting over a cold, but yeah, I'm pretty much over it at this point. I'm not sure if you can still hear it in my voice or not, but But yeah, it was interesting in Dallas. You know, it's like you have to do a plane flight and you're sneezing, and it's like, well, it's, you know, it's the tail end of a cold. It's not, you know, the other thing that shall remain unnamed. Because I mean, I got a test and it was negative. I'm also vaccinated, but yeah, it was just a cold. But it's still kind of interesting, you know, being on a plane with a cold during this time. And yeah, so Navik says the Victor Wooten book is fantastic. I can't agree with you more completely. I've learned a lot of things from there. I mean, his version of Amazing Grace is in there, and it's really good. I never learned it all the way through, but that intro is just so awesome, just with those harmonics back and forth between using the harmonics and playing the notes. So let's see. Yeah, it's a good thing that it was a cold. But yeah, I'm vaccinated, so I don't think it's really an issue, but you never. But yeah, so that happened. But I gotta say, even having a cold or sinus pressure or whatever, you know, was causing it, landing in a plane, if you have issues with ear pressure when a plane is landing, oof, it's just brutal. But yeah, so back to slap songs though. So I went over some Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff. I went over some Primus stuff. I went over some Victor Wooten stuff. There was one thing, just kind of like taking it back simpler. If a lot of you guys are like, this is great and all, but it's way too advanced. There was a little thing out of a magazine that I practiced at some point. What was it? No, I can't remember the little fill at the end. The fill was the only hard part, but everything else was just like slapping octaves. So I think this would be a good thing to go through. But it's a bass line. I think it's just like an exercise out of a bass magazine. I want to say it's from like, you know, 10 years ago or something, or no, it was more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe more than that. I can't remember if it was a UK based magazine or if it was an American based magazine, but it was just one of those I was able to find. And it was literally just playing octaves, but then it had this cool little fill at the end, and I just can't remember what it was. Something like that. No. No, can't remember it. But all you're doing is you're going to slap a note and then pop the octave of it. So this would be like the 5th fret on the A string, slapped, and then popping the 7th fret on the D string, then jumping down to the 2nd fret, slap, popping the 4th fret on the G string, and your fingers just stay on the same strings. It's like you're just moving that octave pattern from the 5th fret where your finger is down to the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret to the 4th fret, then back, 2nd, 3rd, and then at this point we're going to move that octave over to the E and the D string. So you're slapping the E and popping the D string. But so I'm just going to say them in pairs, and just know that they're on the A string slapped and the G string popped until that last one. So 5, 7, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 2, 4, 3, 5. Then here we go. This is 5 on the E string and pop 7 on the D string. Then back to our original pattern, 5 on the A string and 7 on the G string. Then 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, and then there was some sort of fill. That was it. So it's Ramirez. I think it's okay. So that's slap pop, and then we're gonna do a ghosted slap pop. So I'm muting with my left hand, not pushing down anymore, and just slapping the A string, popping the G string. And And I think you slap the 5th fret on the D string after that, then hammer on to 7 on the D string still. So you're gonna do slap, pop, ghosted slap, pop, then 5th fret slap, hammer on to 7th fret, then 2 ghosted, another ghosted slap, pop, then 3rd fret hammer on to 5th fret on the D string, then another ghosted slap, pop, then the 3rd fret on the A string, and ending on the 5th fret on the D string. Yeah. So we got from the beginning. So it's that's what it really was. Let me give you the real one. I almost had it right. We Care a Lot by Faith No More. I don't even know if I've heard that one. Yeah, Novice, The Lesson's a really good one. That's one that I never really learned to play, but it's a very, very good song. Okay, so you got some Larry Graham going on. I'd honestly have to pull this stuff up to listen to it to be able to play it. I don't have any Larry Graham memorized. There's some, I'm trying to think of other slap things that I learned kind of earlier on. There was some Stu Ham stuff that I learned. That whole thing. Something like that. But anyway, going back a little bit. Let me give you the fill from the end of that little exercise from that book, because it was a lot cooler than I'm giving it credit for. I just thought that was so cool. So you're slapping the 5th fret on the A string, popping the 7th fret on the D string, then you're actually slapping the 5th fret on the G string and then hammering on to the 7th fret. Then you're going to slap the D string 5th fret and hammer on to 7th fret on the D string. So we got, whoops. Yeah. Yet again, U-Bass is not the best for getting the attack on the G string. And then after you do those 2 hammer-ons, 5th to 7th on the G string, 5th to 7th on the D string, then you're going to go ghosted slap pop. Then you're going to hit the 3rd fret on the D string, hammer onto the 5th fret, do a ghosted slap pop, then the 3rd fret on the A string, and ending on the 5th fret on the D string. So I'm going to do it on the E string instead, just to make it to where you can hear how it sounds in a different place. So we got. It's kind of cool to just turn it into a groove. Get the idea? So slap, pop, slap, hammer on, slap, hammer on. No, so I keep wanting to do the other thing. And then doing it on the strings we originally did. It's just a lot quieter. Okay. So let's see. Navik says, if you want a cool bass exercise, slap open A, hammer on to D. Okay, the 5th fret, and then slap D again and up the octave. Yeah, so we actually went over something very, very similar. Really the exact same thing earlier when I was what Victor Wooten did in a lot of the songs, and then I followed it up with one. I think the example I gave was on the E string and the D string. But yeah, it was like slap, hammer on, slap. And something that kind of sounds like that kind of reminds me of Fly Away, Lenny Kravitz, only instead of an open string, he's sliding from a fret below. So he'll like hit a note, slide, slap, pop. So the verse part and Fly Away. So instead of being a open hammer-on slap pop, he's going 4th fret, slide to 5th, slap, pop. So 4th fret E string slap, slide to 5th fret, slap again, then pop the 7th fret on the D string, and then you're going to do the exact same thing on the second fret on the A string, sliding into the 3rd fret, and then you're going to do the same thing on the E string, sliding from the 2nd to the 3rd fret, and then the last one's going to be the 4th fret on the D string, sliding into the 5th fret, and then doing the octave from the 5th fret. So you got but I'm convinced that he does some ghost note in between. So I do that pattern: slap, pop, slap, ghosted, slap, pop, slap, slap, pop, slap, slap, pop, slap. Yeah, so if you've ever heard Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz, I think that's what's going on in there. I might be adding extra ghost notes, but it's just kind of fun to do. All right. So is double thumb viable for slap tone on a U-bass? So for me, I've been doing the double thump on the metal strings. So if you have the round wound strings, it works pretty well. So it's fine on metal, but when you do it on the polyurethane strings, you're probably going to have your thumb get caught up on the strings a little bit more because of the lower tension. So you may have to adjust your technique to make it work, and it may just not work as well. If your finger gets caught up on the string, it'll come out late and louder than you intend for it to. So just kind of things to adjust for. You might be able to get used to it, but it might not be the best thing on the polyurethane strings. But on the metal strings, it works. All right, so James, as far as I know, James Jamerson never did any slap. I don't know if I should say never, but not on the recordings, because I'm thinking slap was just after, after the bass lines that he wrote that were really popular and stuff, and I don't think he really developed a slap technique. If he did, it was unbeknownst to me, but I don't think he did. So that one's not as much slap. I was thinking of another slap song. So that Fly Away one was actually good, because that was one that I did somewhat early on, because I did jam that out with some friends when I was learning how to sing and play at the same time. That was a good one to practice with, because the I don't know, it was okay. I don't know that I didn't sound anything like Lenny Kravitz or anything, but it was fun anyway. So what's the I'm trying to just think of other good slap songs. Obviously, Red Hot Chili Peppers have a lot of them. I was going through this Charles Berthaud video where he has top 10 flea bass lines, and I'm trying to remember how they go now. But Dark Necessities had a good one. That one kind of reminds me of Can't Stop. Let's see. I can't remember the pattern right now. I'm going to listen to it real quick to get the idea, because there's one note in there I always forget to do. But I was thinking about just doing a top 10 flea lines, on U-Bass, and give you a how-to instead of just his video, so along with his video. But now I can't remember. Oop. Trying to find it on here. Let's see if it'll let me. Here we go. So we got that whole thing. So. So that whole thing, I always forget to get that. There's a very downbeat oriented thing that happens there. Charles Berthoud. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's all good. Very good player either way. So, yeah. So the Dark Necessities line. That whole thing is pretty cool. So you're slapping the note, then you're doing 2 ghosted slaps, then you're popping, and that's on the 3rd fret on the A string, by the way. And then you're popping the 5th fret on the G string. Then you're doing slap, pop, slap, ghosted. So from the beginning, slap, deaden, slap twice, pop, then slap, pop, ghosted, then you're slapping another 3rd fret on the A string. And when you're popping, you're doing the 5th fret on the G string pretty much the whole time. Let's see. And then you can argue that you're not really slapping ghost notes in between, but it kind of feels more comfortable too. So let's see. Like those slaps I'm doing in between the pops. Oh. That one actually is a note, so that one's kind of weird. But that was kind of a fun line. So let me go through it a little bit slower so I don't miss anything. Slap 3rd fret on the A string, 2 ghosted slaps, pop the 5th fret on the G string, then ghosted slap pop, then you're going to the 3rd fret on the A string. So we got, and then we got the 3rd fret on the G string popped. And then I kind of hit a ghosted note in between there, just a ghosted slap, and then the 5th fret on the G string. So we got, so, and then I hit another ghosted slap after the 5th fret on the G string. And then you're going to hit the 3rd fret on the E string. And then you're going to go to the 4th fret on the E string. So we got. Then it's the same pattern. You're just replacing all the 3s on the E string with 4s on, all the 3s that were on the A string with 4s on the E string. So. Okay. So that's the basic idea. And then there's just a 6th fret running on the way back up. But that's pretty cool. Seth says, know any Marcus Miller? And yeah, the answer with that one is yes. It doesn't translate to U-Bass as well. But there's a song called Power that I liked playing a whole bunch. That part's the hardest part to get. So it's like a double thump thing, but you're doing not 5th fret, sorry, where am I at? 9th fret, then to the 7th fret on the D string, 9th fret on the A string, 7th fret on the A string, 10th fret on the E string, 7th fret on the E string. So, and then you kind of do a ghosted note and then pop. The first chord that he plays, he's kind of plucking 3 notes at the same time. He's plucking them hard enough to get a slap sound out of him. It's just not conducive to U-Bass. But that's the 7th fret on the E string, 7th fret on the D string, and the 7th fret on the G string. I'm trying not to break my strings here. But You play that first, then the 9th fret on the D string. Then you do that thing that we just talked about. And then you pop the 9th fret on the D string after that. Gosh. I'll get it in a second. There it is. Okay, so that part has a lot of kind of slap and pop things going on. We probably won't do that one too much. And I'm trying to remember the other one that I did. You said there was another Marcus Miller song that I did. I'm not sure about that. Two Fridays ago, I played a Marcus Miller one. Henro Vinci says, forgot to ask, is feedback an issue when slapping U-Bass? Feedback is like where the amp starts humming or buzzing. I would say no to feedback, but you might have some strings that vibrate from, like if you're, for instance, if you're playing all these things and you hit a note and cough of it and then you're playing other strings, you may have to mute to keep other strings from ringing out, but I wouldn't call that feedback. Okay. So the one I played 2 Fridays ago, I don't remember live. We did I'm not sure which Marcus Miller song you're talking about. I don't think we did one live, but Power is my favorite one. Yeah, it's hard to do on the U-Bass, but you get the idea. It just doesn't sound as pleasing. There's something about that jazz bass sound with that particular range that works well, and I think on U-Bass, we're just better down in this lower range rather than this area of the neck. So some of those notes might sound better, down there. But who knows? You can't stop. Yeah, that's the thing that almost sounds like Dark Necessities to me is doing Can't Stop. But Can't Stop Running, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember which Can't Stop Running is a Adam Benezer song. I'm thinking about the wrong one. There was another Marcus Miller song that I learned more recently, but for whatever reason, I can't remember it at all at the moment. But that's not one, obviously, that I used to learn slap. I'm trying to think of other songs I might have used to learn slap back in the day. I think that Fly Away, that Lenny Kravitz was one. I just learned slapping and popping. Obviously, a little bit of Seinfeld theme. I don't even remember it correctly. There are a lot of details, a lot of these songs that just don't stick in my mind. I have to go and go through them to remember the little details. You'd be surprised how much stuff you forget when you learn a lot of songs. Or at least for me, my memory is just not that great, I guess. All right. So does anybody have any questions? Any other questions about any of these songs or any other songs? Just out of curiosity, what would you guys like to see more of? What other things? Oh, okay. Navik says my first slap bass line was Can't Stop. It was among the early stuff for me. I just don't know that I played it right. I might have just been kind of copying what the guitar part did when I played it. So I'm not positive that I was playing it correct, but it definitely was early on there for me too. So that's pretty cool. But it wasn't the very beginning. There were some other things, I think. I think Aeroplane was probably my introduction to slap. Because my friend's older brother had a bass, and even though he played guitar with us when we did the talent show thing, he did that. Any effects pedals that pair well with U-Bass? I haven't really dived deep into them. I used like a multi-effects processor. I have a Digitech one down here, and it worked okay. I used it in a video or two, and it worked all right. It's not the greatest thing, but it works okay. Let me see. Maybe I can do this. Some effects on here. I might be able to plug it in and do some of those. Let's do that's the output. I think this is the right thing. Let's see. Trying not to get electrocuted here. That's the ultimate goal. Okay. Good, I succeeded. Not getting electrocuted. It's always a plus. Always a positive thing. Okay, I must have plugged in the wrong adapter because that didn't make it come on. And yes, I plugged in the adapter for something that's not plugged in anymore. Okay. So hopefully I won't get electrocuted. Here we go. Take two. All right. So let's see what we got. So yeah, this one has some cool things. So this is the Digitech BP8. It's kind of fun doing some delay. Stuff like that's always good. So that's kind of fun. I'm not sure if I like the sound of this one, but it has a lower octave and distortion. Or it's just a bad distortion. I can't remember how to do it. You know, that's a little too much. Doesn't need the flanger. Just got it anyway. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it's kind of fun messing around with effects, and I think most effects pedals will work. Which ones are the best sounding? Maybe an envelope filter, and maybe not ones that are in a multi-effects pedal like this. But that might help a little bit. It was the only slap sing. I mean, we did oh yeah. Yeah, we did it. I guess I forgot to teach it at the beginning of the thing, but the other song we did was Higher Round. It was the Stevie Wonder cover. I forgot to teach that one though. So that whole thing, that's a lot of slapping and popping, no ghost notes. Slap, slap, pop, slap, 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 pop, slap, slap, pop. So if you can just remember that order, that's basically the idea. All right, well, Navix, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you hanging out with us. But yeah, we'll go over that. So the octave pairs that we're doing is the open E string and the second fret on the D string. And then eventually we move up to the third fret on the E string and the fifth fret on the D string. And then the fifth fret on the E string and the seventh fret on the D string. Hopefully hopefully I said E string and D string every time. Those are the pairs. So then we just got to know when to slap and when to pop. Slapping will be on the E string and popping will be on the D string. So on our first pair, we got slap, slap, pop, slap. Then on our second pair, the 3rd fret on the E string and 5th fret on the D string, we've got slap, slap, pop. And then we move that up the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 5th fret on the E, 7th fret on the D string. We do another set of slap, slap there. So we got. Okay, then the second time through, we do the same slap, slap, pop, slap on the first pair. Then we do slap, slap, pop on the second one. But on the third one, we go slap, pop, slap. So we got slap, slap, pop, slap, slap. And the second time, slap, pop, slap. So we just kind of change the order up. And then third time, same as the first time. And the last time, we've got that. We still got the slap, slap, pop, slap. But then, at least if the thing that I was going from has this right, we have octave pairs on the A string and the G string this time, 5th fret and 7th fret, then 4th fret and 6th fret, then 3rd fret and 5th fret. And it's a triplet pattern, so it sounds like triplet, triplet, but they're pairs of notes. So it's kind of weird. And then from there, it's mainly just that first part underneath the verse and stuff. Oh, okay. So Seth, I know why you said that it was a Marcus Miller. Both Marcus Miller and Red Hot Chili Peppers have done a cover of Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground, right? So the version that we did was more like the Red Hot Chili Peppers version, and the Marcus version is more funky, a little bit slower, and a little bit more similar to the Stevie Wonder original. So yes, that's what it was. That is what it was. Okay. So sorry for not really connecting the dots that, yeah, Marcus Miller did play a version of that too. He just did a totally different take on it. Yes. So that all makes sense now. Now I see where you're coming from with that. Cool. So guys, that about does it for me, unless you got a couple of questions just kind of here at the end. Anything about slap or anything just about the U-Bass in general, I'll let you guys kind of come up with that. And otherwise, I'm going to head out from here. So I hope y'all enjoyed this one a lot. I want to thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all did a great job of slapping the like button. We got 11 slaps, little thumbs up, dude. But yeah, so that's that. So just let me know if you have any questions. I guess I'll try to make up a little slap thing while we wait. Cool. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I will see you guys next Tuesday for the normal video and next Thursday for another live stream like this. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you around. Bye.